Hello and welcome to a new video from Game Informer. I'm Ben Hansen, joined by Elise Favis.
Hey.
JV Gwaltney.
Hi, everyone.
What we have in common is we all went to Media Molecule for the new cover story on Dreams. But who wasn't there, and it's very key, was one Jeff Cork.
I was at home.
Thinking and dreaming away.
Yes.
Then we have Leo Vader in the booth as well.
I feel attacked right now.
Perfect. Okay, so what this is we went to Media Molecule, lovely studio in lovely old Guildford, England, and on the flight over, the big plan was we're going to make our own games and dreams. This is going to be fantastic. And then this demo basically sat down with us with the tools, and then it was basically Media Molecule saying, give me that controller, you idiots.
Okay.
As we wanted them to do, because we have a level designer from Little Big Planet community, and then also a huge designer with Dreams. John Beach is now using these tools to make us a specific game.
Why are there two things on the screen,
Because
first of all?
one of them is JV, I do believe.
Which
right?
one?
No, I don't think one of them is me. I think that's a
Get your story straight.
That might be me.
Yeah.
Okay, for the very beginning, just to mess around with it. But this basically this is like walking through the tools
Yes,
of
that was me. Actually.
what type of game you guys want to make. Do you guys remember the original conception? Like, what was the kernel of the idea here?
Well, I said that we should make the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks, and they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I think someone brought up pirates.
I think I brought up pirates.
I think even before that, I think what it was, ooh, let's start with a music video. I think this was like the creative director, Mark Healy, saying, let's start with the music video and then eventually make the game beyond that, right? So it's like, okay, let's start with the music tools that we have here.
Okay, so going into this fresh,
Yeah.
my fear is that it's like showing up at someone's board game night and you're the only person that doesn't know
Yes.
how to play, and everyone's
Yep.
having a great rollicking time because they
Yes.
know all the rules, but all eyes are on you. Like, all right, it's your turn. Go.
It felt a little bit like that. But when this is your move at the board game night is just hitting different notes, it's tough to F up, right?
Oh, I will find a way.
So those are actually different effects on the screen there that you can see. So when you're playing the note and then you move your cursor with either the Move controller or the DualShock 4 into that area, you can program it so that it's different effects for the notes.
So at this point, when you guys were still from the, we're going to make a music video and then make a game based on the music video, is my understanding. So you're trying to come up with the music for the video?
Yes, starting with the music was the conception.
Is this how they usually work at Media
I don't
Molecule?
think so. I think it's just Mark, the creative director, is a very musical guy. Like, we'd be up having lunch and he'd jump over on the old-timey piano and start playing a little bit, or he'd be playing some Pink Floyd songs on his guitar.
Yeah, he'd just pull out his guitar every
Like to
once in a
kill
while.
time between
while we
interviews
were...
right in front of us.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. He played Wish You Were Here.
It's better than
was
being on
fun.
your phone, technically?
It really is, yeah.
It's his way of fidgeting.
Okay, so I'm going to be scrubbing through this video a fair amount because this is a long journey. Because it was like the entire afternoon of the first day visiting the studio was just creating this thing.
Yeah.
So this interface that we're seeing, like, that's what the game will look like when you, or have they created like weird palettes of their own? Like,
You will have, in theory, all of those instruments as options for like a starting point for the music that you actually want to make here. I'm going to scrub ahead a little bit in the music creation to jump to, oh boy. So here's roughly the song we got, right? And as you can see, it's getting more and more complex.
okay, this is, so you made the audio equivalent of the Black Lodge. You must be so happy, JV.
The sound recorder. This is
Okay.
key. JV, you want to explain what's going on here?
Yeah. So with the sound recorder, I mean, you can pretty much record any sound in the room that you're in into a microphone and then put it into the game. So if you want your character to, if you want your cat in the game to, you know, your character walking around to have your cat's meow,
Yeah.
you can record the cat.
Stomp on its tail.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And then later on, with some gadgets we'll show off later, probably you can just attach that sound clip to a character.
Okay.
Yeah. So and like whenever you press a button, you can also. Oh yeah, here's our song.
Cork's
I wish you could see Cork's face right now. It's. This is the best we can do.
Our ritualistic
So this guy likes music?
chants.
Why is he trying to kill it?
The music died that day.
We're done. No more music.
Keep in mind, this is us effing with it and
Yeah.
trying to steer Media Molecule really off base over and over and over again. So this isn't thinking that like this is the best the studio can do. This is basically us as they're trying to make a work of art, derailing them over and over again. So that's our song.
Your pirate music video is coming along great.
All right, so here is some of the templates for actually creating the game.
Did you ask him what's up with England and sheep?
They love them over there.
Why?
I don't know. They need to cook.
Are they
Hanson
just
actually pet a
inescapable?
sheep while we were there.
Yeah.
That is true,
Oh.
Cork. I actually pet a sheep while I was there.
Really? Did you mark that on your customs declaration also?
Actually, I didn't. It was the first time
You
going through
didn't.
customs where it's like, hey, this is actually extremely relevant. I've been knee deep in some sheep, but I can't tell them that. So this is like a default human character, and you can adjust it in any which way you want after that. But it's just cool that like just pick up and play and drop, however you want to frame it, and now you're running around with this freak of nature, which I think they modeled off of JV based on the proportions.
Yeah, that looks about right. But yeah, they have like a whole set of like figurine models that you can drop into the world and then sort of like paint on and manipulate and sculpt. And this is just like the human one, but there are other ones too.
It's the default puppet.
Yeah.
Just this menu alone, I feel like would take a
love
4-hour
this.
tutorial to understand, and this is one of probably close to 100 of menus like this. It is going to be a lot of
It's
learning.
menus
for everybody.
within menus and sliders.
I love this. This is the sassy meter.
Yeah. Lumberingness. Now we're walking like me. There we go.
Yeah.
Arm vigor. Springiness. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And like there's just so many options that it's astounding.
That's pretty great.
It's completely absurd. Yes, there if you want to get more granular with the figure. Let's get a little freaky here. I think at some point they start, messing with proportions, which is very fun because you can stretch things out however you want. You can make this into a beautiful character, or you can just make it an abomination on demand.
Yeah, we turned him into like a cross between an Oompa Loompa and Slenderman. It was very strange.
Slenderman. Okay.
Mr. Slenderman. Cork, do you have any gut reaction just to seeing the breadth of the tools so far, which is just a fraction of the whole thing?
I'm super excited for people who have time for this nonsense.
That's fair. Look at this freak.
This gong has a funny face.
So can you articulate the neck?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
actually they're like moving the controller then because it still has like that puppetry aspect, like the original demo back from 2013, you know?
Yeah.
Everything always goes back a long ways with this game. So just to show, I think, how adaptable the animation here is. All right, let's get freaky. Put one leg in the air, like you just don't care. And just put him a little bit off balance. And then you can
Now
still
what?
like walk around with this dude. And that's it. And Dreams is $60 on the PlayStation 4. No. Okay, let's jump ahead. So then it became, let's make this guy into a pirate. Which, Elise, you think that was your conception? I don't quite recall.
I know that I suggested pirate.
Okay, great. And so they have like some default pieces. So it's like, okay, let's import a hat, which is a tool, and then we modified it a little bit.
You made it look very piratey.
Right.
Right.
You can't get more piratey than that. You get a feather. Let's see. Tell me to stop or whatever you want to see.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so
Furry
then it
face.
became a matter of let's make him a scarecrow because he looks like a scarecrow because he's all lanky and gross.
So did it seem like that was kind of the general vibe of the whole thing, was just like trying weird stuff and being like, oh, we're going in a different direction now because this is what the tools are kind of not directing us, but
Honestly, I
weird
don't think
mistakes kind of balloon and make you think in different.
it was that so much as just like what was funny in the room at the time. Like,
Okay.
as much as we can stress that this game is absurdly flexible, just think of it as a game engine. You're much better off. And so I don't think it was ever a case of the tools are strongly pushing us in this direction. Outside of just the default person, I guess, is a little bit lanky, so that reminds us of a scarecrow. So pirate scarecrow seems to be a pretty cool concept that all the kids are going as this
It's like
Halloween
an
this year.
acorn guy now.
Oh, just wait.
Seeing me Malgo use these tools is just humbling.
Yeah, like we weren't trying to cut corners with this. It was just one of those things where like you do a game jam and you notice things. You're like, okay, yeah, let's accentuate this and this and this, and it just goes off course. It wasn't like, oh, we can't do this, so let's do this alternative.
Right.
Like we straight like if we had time and stuff, you could make a pirate like straight up.
You could make Jack Sparrow himself.
Yes.
A sentient being. Scrubbing a head, making the cute eyes.
So,
this beard for a while just had to go. It was pretty gross.
So at this point, like, my understanding is that it's like a lot of games that have like gameplay tools and everything, where you have a thermometer on the side of the screen that's showing you
Yep.
how much you can place.
Yep.
Are you not limited by any of that at this point when you're just dealing with a single character?
For like sculpting, I don't know, but something interesting with the sculpts is you can
Oh, my
actually
Lord.
lower the resolution
Uh-huh.
on each individual sculpt to help out with the overall thermometer,
Okay.
just to make sure that it still runs. So you can have a really complex world, but like real game design, as far as I understand, there's a situations where it's like, let's lower the texture resolution and polygons on this thing over here because it's not as relevant,
Mhm.
just to save on overall memory space.
And they talked about that too. Like there are ways to sort of build the illusion, so you can still have pretty much whatever idea you have without worrying about the thermometer. Like you can set up
Yeah.
loading screens between areas.
Okay.
So to give sort of the illusion of like an open world if you want an absolutely massive game.
Mhm.
So like a Sir Walter Raleigh thing going on now?
He's much less polite.
Okay.
I'm getting traumatic flashbacks from this.
All right, now we're getting to let's start creating the world because
Because you've nailed character design and
the
music.
Scarecrow Pirate cannot be topped. Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually, it was strange. Like in the middle of this demo,
That's
just
really
people
cool, by
started
the way.
filing in, just handing us BAFTAs, which
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand. But
I mean, that's what happens at Media Molecule.
What's cool here though is while they're making this cliff, that just started with one rock, and they're cloning that same rock again and again, and then just changing its proportions.
I
yeah,
love that.
Something
Yeah, I think that's
weird.
my favorite bit about the level demo outside of like the logic stuff, which we'll see in a bit, but like
Mhm.
just how natural they can make environments look
Mhm.
with just cloning and like, sort of just a few tricks,
Mhm.
nothing that's like, oh yeah, like, it's all smoke and mirrors to a degree. And I really like how easy it was to watch this and understand it and duplicate it.
right. And Cork, to get back to your question, the icon for cloning is a sheep, which is
Yes.
just lovely.
Ah,
Good old Dolly
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just creating this environment, like that already looks pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And just scrubbing through a little bit.
So are they
here.
using move controllers or are they
They
using?
are.
Okay.
It seemed to be. They said at some point, like the artists were saying that using the move controllers is the equivalent of like using the Wacom tablet or Wacom, however you pronounce it,
Mhm.
for graphic designers and stuff. Where you can use a DualShock just fine, but if you really want to be a Dreams Pro, they strongly recommend using 2 move controllers.
Yeah. Especially for sculpture was when we noticed it the most.
Yeah, and they'd have different gestures and stuff that they would do. Like I forget exactly what tapping them together would do.
I think it would
but-
change the shape.
Yeah.
I think they just did it there
Yeah.
actually to change the shape of the default sculpt here.
Ah, that
Yeah,
was neat.
and the art director's reasoning for that, and it makes a lot of sense and is pretty interesting, is like other tools you have to like when you want to change something or get a different tool or something while fiddling around with like a model in a 3D space, you have to like go around and mess with bindings and options or click on things. But with the move controllers, they have it set up so you just do different literal movements. So it becomes muscle memory instead of like, oh, here I have to go to navigate all this crap.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
But
Yeah.
something really smart is the creative director. Throughout the development of the game, he's only using a DualShock 4. He's like limiting himself just to make sure that that experience is good, which I really
Ah.
appreciate
Yep.
because I don't know if I want to go out and buy 2 move controllers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah. All right. So this is, I think it was, fitting the pirate themed. It was naturally, well, we got to have a skull cave. That's Pirate 101, baby.
Mhm.
And so what they're doing here is it's actually sculpting, but it's mirrored, obviously. So you can set like the dividing
Ah.
line of where it's mirrored. And so it'll save you half the time if you have to make a symmetrical shape.
Mhm.
This is one of the most mind-blowing things is just watching them sculpt this, but then the smoothing process, which we'll get to here. We're inside this skull.
Yeah, let it roll for a minute. I want to
Sure.
watch this.
So hearing their feedback and just weird anecdotes about people seeing this sculpting was really interesting. Like they said that somebody, once they saw the sculpting tools and especially the smoothing technique, which we'll
Mhm.
see pretty soon here, they said that some 3D sculptor started crying, right? When they're showing it to the external world. Like some lady just like broke down in tears about how beautiful it was.
that was a student. Yeah.
Oh, a student. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
and she was like, "Oh my god, I've been wasting like years using this,
Oh, so
other
it's
tools that take like months and months to get this right
sad,
and
sad crying.
or whatever." Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I've wasted
She's like,
my
"You
life.
did it just in like 5 minutes."
Media Molecule, you
Yeah.
are now God
Monsters.
among men. Or either way. I don't know. So this is actually, is this Kareem then?
Yeah, this is Kareem.
So this is the art director actually doing the sculpt on the cave itself. And then John Beach is doing a lot of the level design and other things. But they're passing off the controller, basically hot potatoing this thing
Yeah,
back and forth.
I
Did they
think
throw
this
it to
is-
each other in a cool way?
That would have been cool. Yeah. And then they caught it always after doing like 8 flips perfectly. It's like really David Letterman with a pencil at this point.
This is my favorite part.
It's just
Of the whole
my
demo.
God.
Also, it helps having Kareem's beautiful voice talk you through this because he's a very articulate man.
So take it away. Let's hear a little bit what it sounded like.
Oh boy, that's tough. I can't do it. I can't quite nail the Egyptian accent as well as you can. So this is some of that smoothing where just, it starts looking lumpy and strange, but then once you get that smoothing technique over it, it just is poetry in motion.
It just looks like claymation at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's, oh man.
Yeah.
And actually,
I forgot how great this looked watching it.
Yeah.
They have so many streams too up on Twitch or up on their YouTube channel where it's just them sculpting. And it's like, it is Bob Ross good. If you just want to sit back with a good glass of wine or whatever tickles your fancy and just watch Kareem sculpt stuff while talking through it for an hour, that is the place to be.
There's one out there that involves a mech that they've made live where they craft like a mech warrior sort of deal that you should definitely go watch.
Yeah.
Like it's truly impressive.
Yeah, at PAX. I missed this and I was bummed out about it. But at PAX, what they did is they had, was it 10 or 15-minute challenges? So they had the entire panel at PAX yell out suggestions of like, we want a fighting game with 2 tacos that puke ice cream, stuff like that. And they're like, all right, you have 10 minutes, go. And John Beach, who was at the controls, a designer on this game, he turned out something in that window over and over and over again. It's insane.
John Beach is like a fascinating dude. He came up through the Little Big Planet community while he was like a construction worker. So he'd like, go to his job, come home and like make some Little Big Planet levels. And then he got a job working at Media Molecule, like doing some of this crazy stuff.
Yeah. So this level is getting bigger and bigger. Actually getting dropped in. So, let's look at some of this stuff. So we're finding some of like the pre-built stuff in the archive, which will be in Dreams here for them to actually pull from. So this is from the PAX demo, actually. So this is where it's like, okay, I guess we technically built some rain for one of those demos, so we can pull that in here. Because something I don't really emphasize so much with Dreams, but it's a lot about remixing. It's a lot of like, letting those community levels be open if the people are up for it, and then just pulling bits and pieces and repurposing everything.
So like Skull Rock could be saved as a individual prop, and then someone else can pull Skull Rock into their game or thing.
It's also worth noting the seamlessness too. Like you go from edit to play mode without any loading screens or anything. It's like instantaneous, which makes it real easy to edit stuff, you know, and then see the effects immediately.
Oh, and they put the little, speaking of David Letterman, the little David Letterman gap in the tooth there. for Skull Mountain. Moving forward, more effects, more rain. Let me know if you want to see any of this in particular.
Yeah, let's do the trigger zone stuff.
Yeah,
let's show the
that
logic.
was great.
So this is about as polished as an experience can get. The water is really interesting. I saw a lot of people commenting on how good the water looks. In the gameplay they showed of like the 2 cat little co-op Zelda-ish RPG that we have that gameplay footage of.
Yeah, there's like fish in there or something that people were freaking out about.
But yeah, just having the ability to just drop great looking water wherever you want is huge.
And keep in mind, this took like 2.5 hours to do completely.
Yeah. All right. So the trigger zone stuff is probably the most impressive tool that I saw.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about it on the podcast, but basically what it is, it's a little force field that when an NPC or your character, basically anything that you can set to walks into it, activates something connected to the trigger zone. So like you might have a camera functionality connected to it, so the camera will spin around and do whatever you programmed it to, or you could have like it function as a trap. So if the character walks in there, you could have it set so that their health goes to 0 and they die. That sort of thing. And there's just so much you can do with it. And here's us messing around with the camera tool that will connect with the trigger zone in a few seconds or in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Like that was the most impressive thing I saw, because that's like the glue that's going to hold everything together when you're talking about like how do you make this world, like characters like interact with it and stuff.
Totally. And actually, just watching this now, I realize people watching it might want to see more details and more bits and pieces here and there. So if you go to GameInformer.com/dreams, where this story is originally posted, just in case you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have a link to like the full video, and you can just watch that and script through it on your own. Because all these tools, they're eager to show off, and it is really handy. And we're not embarrassed over a pirate scarecrow.
I love my pirate son.
So this, they put the camera attached to that trigger zone, obviously, so that when your character walks towards the cave, then the camera will pull back and have a sweet reveal with naturally the Dutch angle, which they're doing right now, just to show off how sweet that cave is with the fire eyes.
It looks, well, you'll see in a second. It looks shockingly good.
Yeah, it does.
Outside of our character, outside of our pirate.
And we'll show the finished product at the end of this, but just scrubbing ahead a little bit. So they're pulling in from stuff from PAX. I forget exactly what they're pulling in. Oh, for
the dance floor inside the cave.
Because it's a music video.
We're making a cave in the skull. Yeah.
Right. And so they pulled in all these like more industrial looking assets from the PAX demo with the mechs, but then are repurposing those to kind of work as a dance floor because they have the different tiles.
And that's a big feature in Dreams too, is that you can repurpose assets from, other games and stuff, but with the other owners' permission.
Yeah. Right. So I think it's going to be, I'd imagine that Dream Store or the Dreams Play Space is going to be a lot of it's this level, but with a slight variation, because if people are open to letting you do whatever you want to those levels, then it's just going to be slight clones, but with some differentiator. The most popular level is going to have, I'd imagine, a lot of clones that are slight, tweaks on the formula.
So is it just completely altruistic? Players like to share with the world, or are they going to be able to make a little scratch on the side?
No scratch.
Yeah, no scratch. They're talking about trying to figure out ways to, down the road, to give ownership to people over their games, or even possibly having a Made in Dreams section on the PlayStation Store. But they have not they don't have concrete idea or concrete plans laid out. That's just things they want to do.
Right. But in theory, Cork, you're going to be leveling up and stuff. So if you're a great creator, more people play your stuff, then in theory, right?
Yeah.
Is it one of those meters then? Yeah. So you get more experience. So if you want to hit that level cap, which right now does not exist, you could have a lot of people playing your level.
Yeah, there's going to be Hall of Fames and stuff too, and
plus
weekly challenges.
Yeah, plus also this is straight up, obviously not this, but the stuff that people can make with this will be portfolio worthy.
Yeah.
To a degree, you could bring this into an interview and say, hey, I made this. I had this many people. I gathered this many people to work on this. This is the tool sets that we use to make this level or this game.
And they'll say, can you use a cash register though, sir?
Now, you guys are making the next Elder Scrolls in the Dreams engine, right? I just want to make sure before this interview goes through. Scrubbing forward, obviously seeing... So highlighting the different panels on the floor itself then to make the dance floor, which is critical. Because, of course, there's glow tools. There's every tool you can imagine. One of them that blew my effing mind was when you make fur, there's literally a tool for combing the fur in a certain direction.
Yeah,
that is the level
great.
that we're working with here.
Yeah, the one that really shocked me was with the music maker. You can go in and tune the individual instruments.
So what happened with the music that we heard then?
It's not in the level yet.
No, we heard what was going on there. Is this before the tuning functionality that Jaden was talking about?
I see. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good song. It's my ringtone right now. It's basically the Game Informer new anthem. It's going to open the Game Informer show podcast.
I actually really like that idea.
That'd be so jarring.
Oh, we would lose a lot of listeners.
Halloween's coming up.
That's true. Speaking of Halloween coming up, Jeff Cork, do you want us to jump to the finished product to see what this thing's actually like?
Yes.
Okay.
Where am I? What is this place? Where have I found myself? Let's walk in this direction.
That was John himself.
Yeah.
Doing a
He
great
has a
accent.
very nice voice. He's the next trailer guy.
Hitting the trigger zone to reveal the sweet skull cave, Dutch angle.
See, that's super cool.
It's awesome.
And then what's going on in this cave? Pretty sweet. He's found his brethren. And it's just a happy dance party. Oh, sweet Jesus! No! It's a surprise boss fight!
It's a bunny fish.
It's a bunny squid.
Yeah, it's a squid.
And actually, the growling you could hear, was that JV and Elise doing that?
What are you talking about?
The sound recording. You guys recorded your video.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That was us. Yeah.
Your growl sucked.
Yeah. And then he jumps off and dies. And that was made in 2 hours for Media Molecule. And look, it's not them at the top of their game, but it is a game nonetheless.
Yeah, and it shows off all the functionality and stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
man, I'm still blown away by just all the logic stuff. I think that's the stuff I'm excited to get around with and play the most, and just see all the flexibility there.
So
For
much
sure.
potential.
Yeah.
Do you want to see what it looks like when we use the tools? It goes a little something like this. So this is what it eventually ended up looking like. As it's basically trying to use MS Paint for the first time when you're a little baby boy.
Making 3D
Except you're an
diarrhea.
adult.
Yeah, and so the wall there is where everything's mirrored.
Okay.
You made a giant mirror.
Right, thinking oh, I'm high level enough where this is going to be a perfectly symmetrical design overall. Eventually, and Media Molecule is very sweet for going along with this. and saying, "Hey, this actually looks pretty good. This looks pretty good."
Yeah, they were sweet.
Meanwhile, Mark's like, "Oh God,
you're the best of this. Have you done this before? You
exactly. As they're trying to jump out the window of a 3-story building. So I was like, I'll just try and make a face here, but I cannot stress enough that we had not used the tutorials at all.
Yeah.
But this is what it looks like when a damn near professional gamer grabs these tools for the first time, trying to make something that looks impressive.
At this point, you'd not seen a face before, too.
Correct.
In your defense?
They'd actually had a bag over my head for a majority of my life at this point.
Yeah. Hey, wait, that's good.
All right, we're getting there.
Good might
Looks
be
like
a
it's
strong
made out
word.
of felt. I like it.
Yeah. See,
like
you
a
want to
Muppet.
touch it, like everything Media Molecule makes. You just want to reach into the screen and just touch it.
No, I don't
Okay.
want to touch
I don't
want
to touch that.
Kiss it right on the lip.
Yeah, absolutely. Let it bite your tongue. So I think I was going
this
for.
is good.
I think I was interviewing someone when you were doing this. I really regret not being there to stop you.
Just grabbing the controller. So that's that blend tool. How cool is that?
I love the blend tool. I forgot.
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
real good.
That is cool. I like how he's got red hots for eyes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Leo. And he's kind of got like James Cameron airships for ears.
He looks like a
Um,
demon.
You just can't commit, can you?
No. So then I also installed a camera in here, all this stuff. I guess I made music technically, if you want to call it that. And then we did a playthrough, I guess, in theory of what it looked like. Right about here. Okay.
So how long did this take you?
This was 3 days. No, I have no idea. This was
What, half an hour?
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
half an
tops.
hour.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
All right, so let's actually, you can then, here we go. You know, that wasn't quite the full experience. We'll get to play here to really show it off.
That'd be a great boss fight.
Dreams is available on the PlayStation 4 for $60.
They're
Okay.
still allowing you to cancel pre-orders.
0 tutorials. Elise had a much more structured experience using 2 Move controllers. You want to see what that looked like?
Yes, desperately.
How about just one more lap of this thing?
So here, Kareem. No, it wasn't Kareem. It was.
I think it was Kareem.
Oh yeah, it was Kareem. Kareem was showing me just how to make different shapes, and I was using the Move controllers in comparison to Hanson, who was using the DualShock 4 controller.
Right, and actually I had it on a cable
So-
and I was just whipping it around my head like a lasso is the way I was using the DualShock 4 as you saw.
Yeah. So we're just starting off with like standard shapes, and I'm kind of learning just how to like navigate the world with the Move controllers right now.
Yeah, he set up like an obstacle course, like you were learning to drive, and it's like, okay, here's what we need to do. So you need to navigate into 3D space to hit these 3 shapes. It seems insane, but this level of like granularity and tutorial was actually really helpful.
It
I
was
think, right?
extremely helpful. Yeah.
And so the tutorials in the actual game, Cork, they're going to be like picture in picture.
Okay.
And it's going to be just like a little video. I'd imagine a lot of little videos saying, hey, do this, now do this, and then recreate this. But I cannot imagine the total number of tutorials for the game because it's going to be mind-boggling.
Mhm.
I would love to be able to download like shareable levels and just look at how they're made, like at every piece, and learn that way.
You can do that.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can dig into anything there and see exactly how it's reconstructed, but I don't know how helpful they will ultimately be.
What was nice about the like in-game tutorials was that there'd be a tutorial video in the corner of your screen that you can watch as you play.
Right. So it should be relatively
as you
seamless.
create, it's kind of directing you.
Yeah.
So this is you doing this?
This is me, yeah.
Oh.
Cloning a bunch. Oh, I was gonna make a castle. That's what I had decided.
Mm.
a beautiful gumdrop
At least
castle.
I think you made a castle.
Thank you.
That was a compliment.
Sometimes it's hard to tell with you.
Yeah. All right.
And this
Oh,
is
I
when the
love
castle
that.
goes off the
Oh, yeah.
rails.
I want to make that green glob again.
Yeah.
It seemed very fun.
It was really fun. Felt like Play-Doh.
Yeah.
And they're going for, is it the ogre that lives in the castle, or what was the logic here, Elise?
There was no logic. I think with the green goo, I was just trying stuff out.
I think the logic was largely, hey, we're keeping Media Molecule here super late on the second day. Let's just crank out some things and get a feel for the tools.
I think I wanted to sculpt at one point. I don't know if that was when I was trying.
When you were ambitious.
Yeah, you want to let your personality shine out there instead of making this highly rigid castle experience.
Yeah.
It was funny with the game, the masterpiece of a game that you saw in the first part of this video.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It was fun just like because John Beach and a lot of the other folks at Media Molecule were getting like so specific on like, oh, just this one tiny detail. This is a little bit off. We can fix this. We can fix this bug. We can fix this. And then Siobhan, who's the studio director and kind of the producer on the project, she was just like, you guys, we've seen this part of the phase before in game development. Like, it never goes well. This is why Dreams isn't out the door. We need to let this go. Like, this ultimately does not matter how polished this Game Informer experience
Our
is.
pirate music video has been delayed, unfortunately.
Please look forward to it. Beta coming this year. Exact date unknown.
Yeah.
So this is going to turn into goop? Like, is it going to fall?
No. Sorry if I set up a liquid expectation.
This is just sculpting. So I'm just kind of trying to make a like big enough object that I can then kind of mold, I think.
Yeah.
It looks very Cronenberg-esque.
But it's so naturally blended. It's
slowly
sweet.
Expands.
Just like the color transitions. Oh, so nice.
Yeah, I love the like gradient stuff.
I know nothing about 3D modeling, but this looks like I could maybe dabble in this.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what they're hoping to sell Dreams off of, is that exact sentiment of I could maybe dabble in this.
When I was playing, a lot of it was just like, what can I, make this blob turn into?
Yeah.
And just kind of go from there. So then I kind of made this, what I called the Death Star jungle.
Patent pending.
Yeah.
Oh God.
See, it's turned into it.
It has a bizarre function where you can automatically like step things out and clone things. I forget where it is on the D-pad or how exactly you configure that, but like having that quick multiplication is pretty easy to do in the game here.
And having symmetry like that is a good shortcut to making things look intentional. I like it.
I would have this sculpture in my house. It feels like a sculpture from Beetlejuice, but I would absolutely.
I'm still super impressed that that's a thing that you can actually like go into play mode and navigate. Like, no, for real. Like, you see little caverns and stuff. Like, you go and hop around in there because it's big enough. And she created it really quickly.
Solve the riddle.
Yeah.
Let's jump ahead. There's another video here too. Okay, so Elise, you also wanted to make music, right?
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Now, Elise, I don't know if you saw from Game Informer's Extra Life last year, but Elise is a hell of a singer. Unfortunately, I don't think you used your voice for this particular segment, from what I recall.
I did not.
So that was just a fun fact.
Yeah, but I'm saying she's very musically inclined, right? She gets how to drop a beat.
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
And so that's what we're going for here.
So I assume you can change the key of the notes you're playing?
You can change absolutely everything. The music tools alone, I feel like they should post or like sell as a standalone thing, which we brought up in the rapid fire, because they're so absurd.
Yeah.
You don't even have to use notes.
Yeah, where you're going, you don't need notes.
Actually, the music tool is.
Oh, I want to do this.
The music tool is one of my favorite tools.
Yeah. So
it's
showing,
actually not hard to make it sound good.
Right, especially with all like the default templates that they have in there for like, hey, here's a beat that'll sound okay. Here's kind of like some simple piano and synth that'll sound okay.
Yeah, you've got the metronome to guide you.
Is that gonna be like the new musical notation right there? Like Guitar World Magazine is gonna have just this image. Like, here, learn to play.
That's how the aliens from Arrival also communicate.
That's how we read music now.
All right, let's jump ahead and hear the finished performance here. Will it play?
I don't remember what the finished product sounded like.
I think, is it this? Oh, you're recording the movement.
Oh, yeah, I love that too.
Because you can record the motion, obviously.
Yeah, like you did with your play.
Yeah, my sock puppet performance. And so as you're trying to animate a continent to this beat, it all makes a lot of sense.
Oh, right. It shows you the line of where you moved. I forgot
right.
that.
Cool. Also, it's important.
Path.
I think it's important to stress that Media Molecule has made good things within games or within Dreams as well.
What are you talking about?
No, it's great. Okay, so here's the music will come in. Or this is just showing the actual movement without music in there yet.
Oh, it's so gross looking.
No, it's not.
There we
My
go.
Jungle Death Star.
It's a living, breathing world.
I hate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elise Favis. Elise Favis.
Oh boy.
She is from Canada.
To learn more about Dreams and what you can actually make in Dreams, what Media Molecule has made in Dreams, and the future of this insane thing for PS4, check out GameInformer.com/dreams, everybody. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Cool.
Bye.
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 Bye.